Good morning, good afternoon. We are at Munich, East Munich with Topher Gaylord from the Columbia team. Good night, Topher.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine. Nice to be back again in Europe, such a almost European as you are. Topher Gaylord is responsible at Columbia, together with Franco, for the new business sponsorship of Ultra Trail Mont Blanc, the race of races in trail running all around the world. But first and foremost, you are a runner.
I am a passionate runner, and I love running long distances. I love the ultra distance.
I remember a few years ago, I was the first Spaniard to go complete the Leadville 100 miles.
Yeah.
It was quite a memory.
Nice job. Congratulations. That's a tough race. A race across the sky. Very high altitude.
Exactly. And you coming from the States, when you first came to Europe, there were no 100 milers as far as I know.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the first 100 miler was the Western States 100, and I'd been running that race for many years. But then I moved to Europe in 2000, and I was searching for a 100-mile race in Europe, and I couldn't find one until finally in 2002, 2 years later, or 2003, in the spring, I discovered this race, the UTMB, and it immediately, I thought, wow, this is incredible. It circles the Mont Blanc, it's 3 countries.
Marketing dream come true.
Exactly. So I entered the race right away.
All right.
Yeah. And I called Franco, who at the time was running all of Western Europe. He was managing all the business. I said, Franco, I'm running this race. And he said immediately, without question, we have to sponsor. And so really I credit Franco for really creating the first partnership we ever had with the UTMB family, and really it was Franco and one of his marketing managers that really did a spectacular job of building the original partnership foundation with the UTMB.
And this was back in 2003?
2003, the very first year.
Time moved on, and you did also. Then you moved from North Face to the Columbia Group, which in the States is huge and is also a big scene of the trail running community.
Yes.
And not so in Europe yet.
Yep.
And even at that time, the personal relationship with the UTMB family stayed, because I remember working at the Chamonix finish line when you were at Columbia, not at North Face anymore, but still watching you cross the line, as I said, among the top runners. I don't know if it was top 10, top 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was still that personal relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people, most human beings, live pretty routine lives, and let's face it. I mean, the Western world is a pretty comfortable place to live, and what the UTMB allows people to do is live an extraordinary life for 24 to 46 hours. I like to believe you live a lifetime in a single day at the UTMB, all of the emotions, the positive and the challenging emotions. And so for me, that combination of culture, mountains, 3 different countries that you traverse in the rooftop of Europe, all wrapped into one event, cannot be replicated anywhere in the world. And so it was, for me, really special to have built that relationship with the race organizers from the very first year. And we had a business partnership. I call that round 1 or phase 1. And it was a very close relationship. And then I moved on to another business, but I always maintained a very close relationship with the UTMB family.
And as they say, things come and go. Started in 2003, then it changed, and then what happened last year?
Well, it's interesting. I think, the UTMB race organizers decided they were going to go a new direction with their partners.
When did you first learn of this?
Well,
come on. So it's one of the greatest secrets.
Good question. Good question. I can say I learned of the kind of the change at the last UTMB.
All right.
And so I knew that the race organizers were exploring new partnerships, and I had a very open and honest conversation with the race organizers, with the Pilates, And we just started with a conversation, just an honest, open conversation about what was right going forward, and we just had that continue and develop.
Okay.
And it was throughout the kind of the fall of 2014 that we really began to discuss in more detail. And of course, Franco and I re-engaged again, like 2003, and we both recognized that it would be a tremendous opportunity for, you know, both Colombia, Mountain Hardwear, Montreal. We really thought that what a great platform for our brands that that can demonstrate, both inspire our consumers, build brand awareness, activate our retailers. And we think that this race, more than anything, it's not just a running race. It really is not a running race. It's the coming together of mountain culture, outdoor culture, and trail running culture combined into a week festival. And you know, you have now almost 75 countries represented, so it's cool.
One question, I was surprised about the parallel actions between the Amer Sports group and the Columbia group. I don't know if it was just by chance or there was some kind of action reaction, because you guys are moving obviously towards Europe, and at the same time, just about 2-3 weeks later, we learned that great runners from the Montreal USA team like Dakota Jones and Ellie Greenwood and Max King had just enrolled with the Salomon team. I mean, from the outside, it's difficult to see whether it's action reaction, and it's just by coincidence, different strategies.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Well, I mean, we see the UTMB race. You know, many brands look at a race like the UTMB and say, okay, we want to field a team of elite athletes, and we want our elite athletes to go win the race. And for us, we look at the UTMB and our activation as a brand differently. We think that there's a much bigger story to tell than the very select stories of 5 or 6 elite athletes. We actually think that there's a more beautiful story to celebrate the inspiration of every runner, from the front runner to the last place runner. And so for us, the sponsorship of the UTMB is more about celebrating every finisher. And I said it earlier, I think if anyone comes to the UTMB and you watch the start, it's interesting to watch the first couple of runners come through. Okay, yeah, it's impressive. But what's more emotionally charged is watching the runners that finish between 44 and 46 hours. They're champions. When they cross that finish line, they have created a life-defining moment. And so for us as a brand, we want to tap into those stories, and we want to bring that to life. And because of that, we decided to focus more on the running community, the trail running community, and celebrate every runner from the first place to the last place runner. So for us, it's a little bit of a different strategy. And
you know, in Spain, we have a saying that relates to that. It's trail running is that weird sport where the happiest competitor is that who finished last.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
it's absolutely true. You see the winner and he's happy, but you see the very last guy to toe the line and he's ecstatic.
Exactly.
He's,
it brings a tear to your eye. I mean, for me, it's more emotional. I think there's so much storytelling there as a brand, and sometimes I think, and it's also a way for us to differentiate. I mean,
I would say there's also a culture factor. As you know, outdoor sports in Europe are more about competitiveness, whereas at least my perception of what I lived at the States is more about community or sharing. For example, I remember a funny point at Leadville, going up to Hope Pass, and Anton was coming down, rushing for his one more record attempt. And when he saw me, he stopped. He said, "Good job." I mean, whoa,
right on.
Anton, I mean, please go on. I mean, I was impressed.
Well, there's a camaraderie. I mean, that's what's so cool about ultra running, because you know, you run Leadville, people line up at the UTMB, and you're running with the best trail runners in the world, and you're participating with them. And they relate to your struggle because they're struggling too. They're just struggling a little faster than us. You know?
Well, then us. Come on. How many times top 10 in the UTMB?
I think I was...
you were second once.
I was second the first year.
That's correct.
I was 6th one year. I was 10th another year. So I have 3 top 10s in the UTMB. I think I never finished lower than... I had a couple of years, I had some injuries that I finished a little lower, but always under, you know, between 22 and 27 hours normally, all my times at the UTMB. And, you know, for me, no matter how many times you run that race, when you line up at the start, there's no guaranteed outcome, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And, you know, last year I made the TDS. I'm getting a little older now, so, but I still love the race. But the TDS is a really technical race, really wild race, farther away from the aid stations. I was able to finish 10th place last year in the TDS, so I was still happy with that, yeah. But it's not getting easier, and the runners are, you know, trail runners are really focusing more than ever on their training, on their eating, on all of their systems, and the quality is increasing.
Now, business-wise,
okay,
the deal involves, of course, a lot of strategic opportunities. First, it entails investment. I would say that the agreement, which is public, is for 4 years, which allows for an investment of how much money?
Good question. Yeah, we obviously aren't disclosing all the details of the deal, but we're an ultra partner. That's the right partnership level for us on both Columbia and Mountain Hardwear, and we really think that partnership with UTMB will provide us the ability to really activate and inspire our consumers, our you know these kind of core trail running consumers, and also activate with our retailers. It's such a big economic opportunity for the retailers around the entire Mont Blanc. You know, people come all summer long and train on the course and share ideas, and so from a retail perspective, it's excellent.
In terms of product development, when doing brand management, I guess you might consider that a tough call to make, because Montreal has a superb trail running heritage in the States. On the other hand, Mountain Hardwear is perhaps more in line with the fast and ultralight spirit prevalent in Europe.
Yeah.
As a marketing director, coordinator, it's quite a tough call to make, because one potential development would be for Mountain Hardwear to build upon its fast, light performance heritage and launch into that, or the other would be for Montreal to streamline.
We think there's opportunities for all of the brands. I mean, if you think about, there's 5 different races with different abilities.
Oh, I see what you mean.
There's different abilities and skills of all of the athletes, and I think each brand can bring an approach for each type of trail runner.
Yes.
Certainly for the Mountain Hardwear brand, we're a performance-driven brand. We're a brand that focuses on quality, on form following function, and on really delivering kind of a just superior quality and innovation. And so we have many products that we think would be perfectly suited in the UTMB kit, like our Ghost Whisperer jacket, the non-insulated jacket. We've got many specialty packs that we already think are ideal. But we think this will be an opportunity too for us to work with our design teams and our product teams to collaborate in a deeper way with the race organizers, with the participants, and it's also why it's important that we have at least a 4-year relationship to begin, because it takes time to build on the partnership. So I think we're just looking at the ways that we can unlock the partnership. So we're not prepared to say this is exactly the way we're going with each brand, but we know that the brand, each brand has relevance for the consumer that is coming and spending a week in Chamonix at the end of each August.
Well, thank you very much, Topher. Which start and will we see you at this year?
Good question.
OCC? You've never done OCC?
No, I'm not going to do OCC. It's maybe a little too short for me, even though there is no short race at the UTMB series of races. I think I'm going for the TDS this year.
All right.
I love the race, and last year it was really fun because I ran the TDS, and then I was able to cheer on the UTMB, and I went all over the course. I still love the UTMB, and I love helping people along, at least giving them some energy and watching the challenge and the resolve and determination of people.
Great. Well,
cool.
See you there at Chamonix.
I hope to
again.
see you running this year.
Oh, let's see. I would love to, but work. We don't know. I would love to. Well, maybe
right.
TDS. See?
Sounds good. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Okay.